Bonjour. Good morning. Buenos dias. It's Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. And today is the 2nd of June 2023. And being of Italian background, I must remember that today is a very big day for Italy. It is the 77th anniversary of Italy becoming a republic after a vote that people chose to do away with the monarchy. So we've done well over the years since then, and a lot of Italians abroad remember that particular date just as deeply as those people who live in Italy. For after all, wherever you are born, if you have also family being born there in your native land, the land of your traditional, of your family over the centuries and years, we all love the land that we come from. And that I say that because we have here in Australia now, we've got a choice to make in terms of a voice to Parliament. It's not the end of the world. It's just another step forward. That's all. The details can be worked out later. Don't worry about the details. It's the heart that counts. And if we want history in the future that is wholesome, well, just say yes, and then we'll work on it. And together with an eventual republic, this nation here can really be a beacon to the world. Okay, but that doesn't mean I have a great respect for King Charles and the history, even the colonials, I do, because they were a product of their times. And, it's our duty in a way to create an earth that is a terrestrial paradise for everybody. So we've got to work on it. And we are doing it slowly but surely. But then, they say 2 steps forward, 1 backwards. It keeps going like that. Today is also a very important day. It's Lesson 60 of Languages and Cultures series with French and Spanish. It is the end of the series, Lesson 60. But, I will not be here next week at this time, 11:25 until 12:30. However, the work continues. The next series 2, I will continue with series 2 in all the podcasts or presentations that I make or lessons, but I will do it in my own time. In other words, I'll come on to Facebook, I will do the live option, and I will then keep it there for you to enjoy. So all you have to do now is really come to TomPadulaTV, Tom Padula on Facebook, and then TomPadulaTV on YouTube, and also Insegna.com in the blog section. And you go to whichever podcast series I have presented. And so far, I have 7 of them. I won't mention them now. You can look them up in Insegna.com. So, what have I done over the last 18 months? Because, I'm up to 78, with Dante Alighieri. So, in other words, that was the number 1. So, 70 weeks ago I started, or 79, almost 80 weeks ago. So, a year and a half, let's say, ago I started the journey, and this journey will continue because it's been a lot of fun, and I've learned quite a lot, challenged myself a little bit, and I've got, sometimes, the ignorance shows, but I try my best. That's all I can do, and that's what I do. And I think that's what you can do when you're learning a language. So if you're not living in France, in the case of French, if you don't live in Spain of course, you are isolated away from those nations, and therefore, I think the main part of learning a language is to keep the brain going, to also enjoy the journey in that particular language and keep going with it and get a lot of fun out of reading in the language and also singing in the language. And if you have a little group of friends, a small group of friends, you can meet in a park or in a restaurant or library and read to each other and sing together. That's the sort of thing you can do. We can all do that. That's it. Now, today, as I said, this is Friday, the 2nd. What have I done here? I've got... I'm a week behind in terms of time, but it's the 2nd of June, 2020. It's the 2nd of June, 2023. So, Friday, 2nd of June. So last week was the 26th. Oh well, never mind. Things happen. So if I check back on my notes, I'll be able to pick up when the time. Yeah, I don't understand how that could happen. Well, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But it's the 2nd of June for sure. Okay. So let's start. It's 11:31. Let's start with the usual. We're doing some, listening first. Okay, and today it's all action, the verbs, which will be the basis for my next series for French. Series 2 will be the focus will be on verbs and writing, sentences, paragraphs, essays. We'll have a look at that. Okay, and maybe then, because you are doing the verbs, you could pick up a French novel and start reading it, even if you're a beginner. Because as an adult, and I'm concentrating on adult, the education for adults, self-education in a way, because you're an independent learner. I'm only a guide, okay? So here we go with action. After me. Sourire, which is a third conjugation verb. Porter, first conjugation. Prendre un bain, that's the second conjugation. Penser, first conjugation. Écrire, third conjugation. Ramper, first conjugation. Couper, first conjugation. Construire, third conjugation. Casser, and that's the first conjugation. Peindre, second conjugation. Lire, third conjugation. Couper, first conjugation. Se laver les dents. Now that's a first conjugation, but it's a reflexive verb. It's not an active verb. So you have to distinguish between active verbs, reflexive verbs. Se laver les dents. Écouter, first conjugation. Tendre, that's a second conjugation. Tomber, first conjugation verb. Écouter, first conjugation. And then se cacher, again, to hide oneself. That's a reflexive verb. Se laver, reflexive verb. First conjugation. Boire, O-I-R-E, but I-R-E, so it's third conjugation. Balayer, first conjugation. Rire, third conjugation. Pleureur, first conjugation. Danseur, first conjugation. Attrapeur, first conjugation. Tricoteur, first conjugation. Être assis, être assis. That is être, that's to be. Être assis, to be seated, to be seated. And that's because of use of être. It says asseoir, but there is a composite tense of the verb asseoir, to be seated. Okay, and être is the être and avoir, the helpers of other verbs and we'll come to that in the next series. Faire des bulles, faire des bulles, faire, I-R-E, but it's this one here, faire. It is one of those verbs that is special. Grimper, first conjugation. Jouer, first conjugation. Faire la cuisine, faire les bulles, that's the same, in the same category. Se bagarrer, first conjugation. Dormir, third conjugation. Sauter à la corde, first conjugation. Ramasser, first conjugation. Jeter, first conjugation. Attendre, second conjugation. Regarder, first conjugation. Manger, first conjugation. Raconteur, first conjugation. Coudre, second conjugation. Tirer, first conjugation. Prendre, second conjugation. And then we got to curseur, first conjugation. Chanteur, first conjugation. Gagner, first conjugation. Courir, third conjugation. Sauter, first conjugation. And you'll need to learn the parts of the verbs, which ones they are which ones. And that will come, as I said, in the second series on French. Gagner, first conjugation. Courir, third conjugation. Être debout, again, to be standing up. Faire, one of the special verbs. Acheter, first conjugation. Marcher, et pousser are all first conjugation. So there are a lot of first conjugation verbs, and then you need to actually know the tenses of the verbs. Okay, so we're just looking at the words at the moment, the action words. They call them action words. They are sourire, porteur, penseur, prendre un bain, écrire, rampeur, coupeur, peindre, construire, casser, tendre, peindre, lire, se laver les dents, écouter, se cacher, se laver, tomber, boire, danseur, balayeur, attrapeur, tricoteur, rire, pleureur, être, assis, to be seated. Faire des bulles, grimper, jouer, faire la cuisine, ramasser, sauter à la corde, attendre, dormir, se bagarrer, jeter. Dormir, we said, attendre, we said, regarder, prendre, tirer, coudre, raconteur, mangeur, creuseur, être debout, chanteur, faire, gagner, acheteur, courir, sauter, pousseur, marcheur. And these are all the action verbs. They call them action words, but they really are very necessary to, je pense, en français. Tu veux dormir. Tu dormes dans ton lit. You can make sentences like that. J'écris le poème. Je joue avec Jules, avec Kathy, avec Mario, etc. I'm playing with them. Je saute à la corde. I jump with the cord. Je raconte une histoire. Or you could say, je te raconte. I'm telling you a story. I'm telling a story to you. So that's an indirect object pronoun, etc. So don't forget, the grammar is not the language. It's about the language. The language itself is the listening part that you understand, the reading part, the writing part. Speaking really comes last, but traditionally, listening, speaking have come together. That's still valid. Listening and speaking is still valid. I'm not denying that at all, the value of listening, speaking. However, if you really want to speak like a French person, you have to get yourself ready to listen and try to understand. You have to read and read aloud, read novels, and the writing part will help you read those books. Now, if you're in the third age, you already have a language in there, in the brain. So you can refer back to it. A child that's not the case for a child. A child needs to be surrounded by a language, that they use for play or whatever. And that's how they learn. But an adult can learn much faster and more languages, provided that they put in the work. So if I were in France and I was there for a month and I'd listen to people and read the papers, listen to television and radio, etc., all that language would come into me, into the brain. And then slowly, but very fast, I would be able to speak in French. When I'm away from France and I don't listen to that, and I don't read every day, and I don't write in French every day, of course we then tend to forget. They say use it or lose it. So we lose what we've learned. And to write, because then you have to be where it's supposed to be and do the things you're supposed to do, to live, to survive, etc. Okay, so that's that for action. I'll continue with this with series 2 as well. Okay, now, I've come this last few weeks, I've done here the chapter, I've done numbers, dates and times. Before that, what did I do before that? Let me have a look. Okay. We've done together so far, in the first 60 podcasts, I have done nouns and articles very thoroughly. That was important. Then we did adjectives and adverbs. That was another section that was important. And the prepositions. Okay? We didn't do the pronouns. We didn't do the verbs. We didn't do the conjunctions and the exclamations. They are coming up now in series 2. Okay, and then, of course, numbers, dates and times is a special section of the language. And that applies to all languages. So we've done the numbers, dates, times. We've also done cardinal and ordinal numbers, being more specific, fractions, arithmetical operations, dimensions, divisions, multiplications, you name it, the dates. So that's what we've done. The last bit that, was the review. There's a review here of this. It says, complete the following with the correct dates and seasons to show when the following holidays are celebrated. Follow the model. La fête nationale du Québec. On célèbre la fête nationale du Québec le 24 juin en été. Juin est le 6e mois de l'année, etc. And we did that. Write the following arithmetical problems in French. 78 plus 20 equals 98, etc. You got to do those. N has a busy day. Tell what she does and at what time. Change the time in the schedule to conversational time according to the model. Ok, prendre le petit déjeuner, partir pour l'université, avoir son cours de français. Answer the following personalized questions. Quelle est ta date de naissance? When were you born? Où vas-tu le lundi? Where do you go on Mondays? Où es-tu allé lundi dernier? Where did you go last Monday? D'habitude, où vas-tu le samedi? Usually, where do you go on a Saturday? Où vas-tu samedi prochain? Where are you going next Saturday? And I've only been given the French here. I'm doing the translation as I go along. À quelle heure te lèves-tu? What time do you get up? À quelle heure te couches-tu? What time do you go to bed? À peu près combien d'habitants est-ce qu'il y a dans ta ville? Very soon, how many inhabitants will your village or your town have? Okay, so that's the end of that. The next one will be the verbs. Verbs, see? There they are, the verbs. There you are. I will show you. Verbs. There you are. Don't forget that Insegna.com can provide you with the right material as you go along. You cannot learn a language just by following a textbook. It's impossible. You have to integrate that language within you. And I'm still struggling with my conversations in French parce que j'ai commencé à parler en français, mais maintenant je n'ai aucune personne avec qui je peux parler en français. Je voudrais quelqu'un qui parle avec moi, mais mon français ce n'est pas très couramment comme il doit être. You know, it's not as correct or conversationally as it should be. So I'm trying, but now I really would need to go to France, to Paris or wherever, stay there for a month or so, and just be immersed in it. That's the best way. And for adults, that if you're retired and you want to enjoy traveling as well, well, the way I do it is makes you be in charge of your own learning. Okay, I can't do it the way I used to do it before, where you follow the book, in the textbook, and you're given the exercises. In other words, you're doing the details. What I'm asking people to do is to actually understand what needs to be done as a whole, and then concentrate in small bits at a time and conquer those. But don't forget the 4 language skills: listen, speak, read, write. Traditionally, that's the way. Listen, speak, read, write. Sort of they're connected. But I've worked out lately, and came to me about December or January this year, really, when I started thinking about it, and I thought to myself, how does a person really, how did I learn English? Well, I didn't do English in Italy. I was 15. So I did Latin and French. When I came here, I started learning the numbers on the ship. Then for 6 months, almost 8 months, I arrived in March. In November, I didn't say much at all in those months. I just sort of listened, did the writing, at school. I was back in year 8 again, and I did all right too, with the subjects that I had done in Italy, because they're, the curriculum there is run differently from Australia. And I said to my friends in a car that I am ready to speak English. In other words, I had done my preparation and I was ready to start speaking English. I didn't do it straight away. So, going back to us, listen, read, write, and then speak. But it doesn't mean you can't do listening and speaking at the same time. If you want to, if you're interested in situational French, then you want to go to a shop or to the market or to the dentist, and you want to know particular phrases, well, there are books that do that. And if you can remember, so much the better. But, from my experience, very hard to do unless you actually know the verbs as well. So that's called limited linguistic competence. You can achieve that, like in music too. There's the Yamaha method, You can learn a couple of things really well, and then people think that you know it. But in fact, you're still as ignorant as ever, except for those few things that you learned. Okay, so that's that for the grammar part. It's 11:50. It's time for me now to go to the reading part. And as I said, we continued. I get my students to get one of these books, Conte Sympathique. If you come to me, I will give it to you at a very big discount, really big. Okay, and if you're my student, you get it straight away. But if you come to see me here at Insegna, I'll do my best for you. Okay, I'm interested in people in people in the third age to actually learn French or learn Spanish or learn Italian or learn Chinese or learn any of the 20 languages that Insegna.com has online. All right, that's it. Au téléphone. Before I go on, cheers. Good. Okay, ready to go. And I have to show you, because I know you don't have the book. Au téléphone. Nous avons 2 téléphones à la maison. L'un pour mon fils et l'autre pour le reste de la famille. I have 2 telephones at home. One for my son and the other for the rest of the family. Very funny. Okay. La dépense pour le téléphone grandit comme mon fils lui-même grandit. Il a des amis partout, de la Côte d'Azur à la Normandie. S'il y avait des habitants sur la planète Mars, mon fils les appellerait tous. Hey, look at this. Yeah, the expense, the telephone expense is growing as my son grows. So he has friends everywhere in the Côte d'Azur, in Normandy. But if he had, some friends there on the planet Mars, I'm sure that you would want to call them too. Oh well. La semaine dernière, je l'ai entendu quand il parlait au téléphone. Now, notice here the verbs avant, la dépense, no, pour le temps, grandir is a third conjugation verb. Il a, avoir, see? S'il y avait, if he had. So, avoir, avait, that's in perfect tense. Appellerait to, he would. So, he would call them. He would call them. That's conditional. La semaine dernière, je l'ai entendu, that's a past tense. So that's the verbs that we're going to do, okay? So, quand lui parlait, tu es dans la lune, je te rappellerai demain. En entendant le mot lune, je suis devenu folle et j'écris, tu appelles à Paris, me coûte déjà trop cher. Maintenant, tu vas donner upcoupe de téléphone à la lune. Tu veux causer avec les astronautes? Maman, a-t-il répondu, que dis-tu là? Je ne veux pas téléphoner à la lune, j'ai dit dans la lune. Mon ami était dans la lune. Je me suis calmé un peu, mais j'ai décidé quand même de demander à la centrale téléphonique de détacher l'appareil dans sa chambre. Le lendemain, à 8 heures du matin, j'ai téléphoné à la compagnie. Une voix d'homme m'a répondu. Bonjour, madame. Que désirez-vous? Je voudrais qu'on élève l'appareil téléphonique de la chambre de mon fils. Je regrette beaucoup, madame. Vous savez le mauvais numéro? Êtes-vous sûr? Et j'ai dit, certainement, je n'ai pas de téléphone. Pas possible. Pourquoi ne me croyez-vous pas, madame? A dit la voix. Est-ce que je vous ai jamais menti? Pardonnez-moi, monsieur. Je dois être dans la lune. Je crois que j'ai besoin d'un psychiatre. 1000 fois pardon. Ce n'est rien. Je devais me lever tout de même pour répondre au téléphone. Avant de raccrocher le récepteur, permettez-moi de vous offrir mon aide. Je suis psychiatre. Je peux vous donner rendez-vous à 1 heure. Je vous remercie beaucoup, docteur, et j'ai répondu. D'accord, je vous rappelle demain de la lune. This is a funny one. And then you got 2 questions. You can translate that. And one of the students in my class is working through this particular book, and he's putting things online as well. All lovely, lovely. Well done. Errol, his name is. Fantastic. So that was, au téléphone. Well, you must have experienced that in your own household. Now this one here is compte sympathique. These are this is for a teacher's guide. So in other words, there are some some directions for people who want to use this, especially teachers, if you want them in the university of the third age and you want to, do these, I welcome you. Come to see me. Okay. The two plays here, Les femmes parlent trop et Simone fait bonne impression. The one-act plays that I've done earlier on in the series, because I've done now, after this one, will be series 1 is lesson 1 to 60. Okay? And then lesson 2, I'll continue from 61 onwards. And maybe I'll do another 60 called series 2. By that time, I should be finished with French, the grammar part, and then maybe, we can look at the literature, the history, all the sort of, it's never ending. When you're learning another language, you need to keep going. It's as simple as that. I spoke about Les femmes parlent trop. What's next? Oh, of course. There is the poetry. French poetry. This one here. French poetry, and it's one of my old books, and it's Jean de La Fontaine. And you can find them online as well, the French poetry. So far, we've done, let's say, you're reading anything you want. You've got the poetry. You then have the plays. Now we're going to do some of the singing, just a little bit of singing to say goodbye to the, Edith Piaf. But I'll continue with her because wonderful, wonderful singer. So here we are. That's how we started. Des yeux qui font baisser les miens, un rire qui s'est perdu sur sa bouche. Voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. Quand, etc., etc., etc. And then you got, allez, venez, milord, de vous asseoir à ma table. Il fait si froid dehors, ici c'est confortable. Laissez-vous faire, milord, et prenez bien vos aises, vos pains sur mon cœur, et vos pierres sur une chaise, etc., etc. And then we've got, tombe la neige, tu ne viendras pas ce soir. Tombe la neige et mon cœur s'habille de noir, etc., etc. And then this is the one I was looking for. Non, rien, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal. Tout ça m'est bien égal. That's good. We even did Caruso. La lune brille et sur la mer souffle le vent en rafale. Sur la vieille terrasse au bord du golfe de Sorrento, un homme serre une fille très forte, sans retenir ses larmes. La gorge nouée de chagrin, pourtant, malgré lui, il chante, etc., etc. And then we got La Nuit. Si je t'oublie pendant le jour, je passe mes nuits à te maudire, et quand la lune se retire, j'ai l'âme vide et le cœur lourd. We've done quite a few, haven't we? But then we've also come to the end of it all with something that I really love. Sous le ciel de Paris s'envole une chanson. Elle est née d'aujourd'hui dans le cœur d'un garçon. Sous le ciel de Paris marchent des amoureux. Le bonheur se construit sur un fait pour eux. Sous le pont de Bercy, un philosophe assis, deux musiciens, etc., etc. So that's it. We did quite a few songs, this and that. It's been a good journey. This one here with French and Spanish, and it's encouraged me to learn Spanish. I'm, struggling with it, but keep going. I keep on going with it, and it's fantastic for me. I love it. I really absolutely adore it. And now that one there was for. What have I done? Yes, I got it here. That was for French. Now, Spanish, I began with just 5 minutes. Then I went to 10 minutes. Then I went to quarter of an hour. And then I went for the full hog. I'm going to give it half an hour to Spanish because I want to learn it. But series 2, I will do Spanish separately from French. And I will learn it by following my own advice. I'll be my own guide. I did that with the stage, when I was doing plays, etc. I followed others, and then eventually I found the most successful way to learn for me, for the theatre and for film, I suppose, whatever, would be to do it my way. And that's why now I remember Frank Sinatra. So when was it? Yesterday, we did 3 songs of Sinatra with Dora Marchese and Rino Marchese. It was lovely. So the experience of learning languages is really a healthy one and gives a lot of joy and a lot of satisfaction if you're patient. You need to be patient. If you start getting nervous and you belittle yourself because you haven't learned much, that's not the way to do it. Okay, so here we go now with Spanish. Where do I put the... Oh, here it is. because I said I was going to do the songs first. Here we are. We'll start with Historia de un amor. Ya no estás más a mi lado, corazón, y en el alma solo tengo soledad. Y si ya no puedo verte, porque Dios me hizo quererte para hacerme sufrir más. Siempre fuiste la razón de mi existir. Adorarte para mí fue religión. En tus besos encontraba el calor que me brindabas, el amor y la pasión. Es la historia de un amor como no hay otro igual, que me hizo comprender todo el bien, todo el mal, que le dio luz a mi vida, apagándola después. Ay, qué vida tan obscura, sin tu amor no viviré. Ya no estás más a mi lado, corazón, y en el alma solo tengo soledad. Y si ya no puedo verte, porque Dios me hizo quererte para hacerme sufrir más. Es la historia de un amor como no hay otro igual, que me hizo comprender todo el bien, todo el mal, que le dio luz a mi vida, apagándola después. Ay, qué vida tan obscura, sin tu amor no viviré. Ya no estás más a mi lado, corazón, y en el alma solo tengo soledad. Y si ya no puedo verte, porque Dios me hizo quererte para hacerme sufrir más, sufrir más, sufrir más. So, I love that. It's a good one. And I'll do the other one later. Okay, now, I did up to N. We're going to do the words now. You know, the word bank for Spanish. So, let's see. Okay. Occupied, ocupado, October, octubre, old, strange, raro, off, de, office, la oficina, official, oficial, often, frecuentemente, oil, el aceite, oily, grasiento, it's cold up here, but I wanted to wear my uniform for you. Not very elegant, but you know how it is. I don't have to prove anything to anyone, and neither do you. So here we go. Ointment. El ungüento. Old. Viejo. Viejo is old. Olive. La aceituna. La aceituna. Lo aceituna. On. Sobre. Once. Una vez. Only. Solamente. Open. Abrir. Open. Abierto. Opera. La ópera. Operation. La operación. Opposite. Enfrente de. Optician. El óptico. O. Orange. La naranja. La naranja. Orchestra. La orquesta. La orquesta. Order. Pedir. Ordinary. Ordinario. Ada. Otro. Ellos. Nuestro. Outside. Fuera. Afuera. Over. Sobre. Overcoat. Al abrigo. Over there. Por ali. Oh. Deeper. De per. That's it, I think. Oh no, there has to be one more. O is over there, por ali. O is, that's 2O, deber. And owner, el propietario. That's it for the word bank for this time. They're the words you know. And next time I'll continue with this as well. Now, what else there? Yes. Some people want to know, for example, how you post a letter. How do you post a letter? So the post office, you know, in Italy, in Spain, I think it's post office were government. It used to be a government business. And they used to sell cigarettes and stamps. The main things was correos y telégrafos. Perdone, ¿cuánto es para Inglaterra? Huh? Excuse me, how much is it to England? So, perdone, ¿cuánto es para Inglaterra? Perdone, ¿cuánto es para Inglaterra? Perdone, ¿cuánto es para Inglaterra? So, you have to remember the phrase, perdone, ¿cuánto es para Inglaterra? Okay? Quiero 4 celos para Inglaterra. Quiero 4 celos, but I would like 4 stamps to go. Okay, they ring. The telephone rings. It's quite irritating really now with the telephone because lots of people ring. It's amazing. Some of the bigger companies, they put a machine on and they keep on ringing all the people who don't answer or they want to bother. Anyway, I would like 4 stamps to England. So, quiero 4 celos para Inglaterra. Perdone, ¿dónde hay un buzón? ¿Dónde hay un buzón? Excuse me, where can I find a post box? A post box. Okay? Perdone, ¿dónde hay un buzón? Excuse me, where can I find a post box? The post office. ¿Dónde está correos? ¿Dónde está correos? Where is the post office? ¿Dónde está correos? But it's not only correos, y telégrafos. But, you know, short, it's correos. Quiero mandar un telegrama a Inglaterra. Quiero mandar un telegrama a Inglaterra. So, I would like to send a telegram to England. So that's what he says. Relente este formulario, por favor. Okay. So, it says, quando mandar un telegramma a Inglaterra, relene este formulario, por favor. Fill in this form, please. Relene este formulario, please. Por favor. Quando es por palabra? How much is it per word? Quando es por palabra? So how much is it per word? Do you remember this now? Let me see. Perdone, ¿cuánto es para Inglaterra? Perdone, ¿cuánto es para Inglaterra? Quiero 4 celos para Inglaterra. Quiero 4 celos para Inglaterra. Perdone, ¿dónde hay un buzón? Perdone, ¿dónde hay un buzón? Where is the post box? Quiero mandar un telegrama a Inglaterra. Quiero mandar. I want to send a telegram to England. Rellena este formulario, por favor. Fill in this form, please. ¿Cuánto es por palabra? ¿Cuánto es por palabra? ¿Cuánto es por palabra? How much is it per word? Yeah, ¿cuánto es por palabra? You pay by the word. And then that's for posting a letter. Then you got changing money. ¿Cuánto es el franqueo de este paquete para Inglaterra? ¿Cuánto es el franqueo de este paquete para Inglaterra? ¿A qué hora es la última recogida de correo? ¿A qué hora es la última recogida? ¿A qué hora es la última recogida de correo? ¿Cuánto es? ¿Cuánto es el franqueo de este paquete para Inglaterra? ¿A qué hora es la última recogida de correo? So, por avión, paquetes, parcels, telegrams, postage stamps. I'm going to show you this. Here we are, por avión. Paquetes, parcels, telegrams, postage stamps. So these are the sort of books that will give you the, the situational bits. Going to a cafe. Oh, I've got this. Angela Ema is watching. That's good. Last program for this series on French and Spanish. After today, I will do it in my own time, but you need to come on to my Facebook page at least once a week, or once every couple of days, to check up what I've done in the previous days. So I suppose even if you come in once a week, it would be enough. But then you'd have to, need a bit of time to actually follow the various series that I will be continuing with or introducing. Okay, going to a cafe. Cafes in Spain stay open from early in the morning to very late at night. You can buy snacks and both alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks. Many cafes have tables outside because of the warm climate. Look out for tapas, tidbits served at the bar to eat with your drinks. Está ocupada. Is this table occupied, taken? ¿Qué desean? What can I get you? ¿Qué desean? Desean, need, supposed to, do you desire? Por favor, puede traernos la carta. Please, may we see the menu? So, está ocupada. ¿Qué desean? Por favor, puede traernos la carta. Please, may we have the menu? ¿Qué bocadillos tienen? Okay. You can relax. Fall asleep if you want. Oh, well, when you're learning, it gets to you. This is what happens. You can relax a little bit and then you can go back and say, ¿Está ocupada? ¿Qué desean? Por favor, ¿puede traernos la carta? ¿Qué bocadillos tienen? Jamón, queso y salchichón. Yo quiero 2 bocadillos de jamón, una Coca-Cola y un zumo de naranja. So, is this table taken? What can I get you? Please, may we see the menu? Por favor, ¿puedo traernos la carta? Por favor. So you can see when you do a language, the problem is, do you remember this in a week's time? That's where it's important, really, to proceed with what I'm saying, is that it's a continuous affair, this business with languages. If you don't use it, you have to keep on using the language. Very hard to keep using 3 or 4 languages, but you can always read. So this is, simple phrase and how to say them in Spanish. You can get some of these books here as well. I've got some, but if I get the interest, then I can bring them in as well. Or you can buy them anywhere you like. Let's face it. Let's face it. Wherever, there are books. And then people start with languages and they drop them because they find them too difficult. But they're not difficult. It's you need to remember that it's a commitment. You need interest, enthusiasm. It's a commitment. Now, I'm going to read you a little play called, this is Siete Piezas Fácil, 7 easy plays. Okay, Valencia. Personajes, here, I'm going to read it with you. Here we go. Here we go. Valencia, personajes. Margarita, Concha, Lola, Pepe. Sala más o menos elegante. Hay mesita con flores. Margarita está reclinada en un sofá leyendo. Concha se asoma a la puerta. Ve a Margarita y entra de puntillas hasta ponerle las manos sobre los ojos. Margarita lanza un grito y se quita las manos de Concha de los ojos. I understood that. Somebody's reading and one of her friends comes in, puts her hands over her eyes. I've never read this, so, I'm doing it now with you. Margarita, Concha Lozano, ¿de dónde vienes? Susto. Verdad, vengo de casa. So, querida Margarita. So, ¿de dónde vienes? Where are you coming from? Querida Margarita. Concha, qué susto. Verdad. Green. Vengo da casa. I come from home. That I understand. Margarita, sí. Pero siéntate, digo, cuando llegaste. Esta mañana, ¿cómo me encuentras? This morning, as you've seen me. Tan bonita como siempre. Tan bonita. Good like always. Lisonjera. Desde la puerta. Outside. Se puede entrar. Somebody is knocking. Can we come in? Margarita, why not? Como no? Tanto gusto de verte. I'm very pleased. Maria Gibb, watching. Welcome. You come right on time. I'm about to finish off the series of 1 to 60 in Facebook, and then I'll pass this on to YouTube and to Insegna.com in the blog section. And after today, I won't be coming on Friday. I will do this all this particular series, languages, anything, because I've got the warehouse here full of books, and I thought, no, I want to bring some variety in my life, and I want to be free as well to come on and do it whenever I want to. And that's what I'm doing. So today is the last one. In about 10 minutes, another few minutes, I will be finishing off. But I'll finish off with reading this. So enough of the explanation. Let's go back. Okay? Let's start from Margarita, tan bonita como siempre. Lisonjera, desde la puerta se puede entrar. ¿Cómo no? Tanto gusto de verte. Y mira quién está aquí. Y mira quién está aquí. Concha, qué alegría. So it says, can you see who's here as well? Tanto gusto de verte. Mira quién está aquí. You know, look who's here. Concha. And that's the name of the other girl. Qué alegría cuando volviste. Esta mañana, si vieras, Margarita se me olvidaba. He traído a mi primo a saludarle. Se ha quedado en el pasillo. Lo llamo. Claro, como me habías dicho. Lola entra y vuelve con Pepe. Caballero, tanto gusto. Señorita, a los pies de usted. Señorita, at your feet. A los pies, I can understand, eh? De usted. Yo, tú, usted is plural for you. Usted. Margarita, Concha, el señor Cantú, la señorita Lozano. Caballero, celebro, a los pies de usted, señorita. Pepe is very, he's like someone likes to play, to give compliments. Good. At your feet, señorita. Margarita, siéntense todos. Concha acaba de llegar de París. De veras, yo tengo allí muchos amigos. De veras, qué interesante. ¿Conoce usted a Jacques Valéry, el pianista? Pepe, irete bien, va a venir a visitarme. Oh, Concha, qué gusto, Margarita, dispensanos al hablar de Jacques. Me olvido de todo. Y Pepe otro tanto, pero Pepe acaba de llegar de Valencia y va a contarnos algo de la ciudad y de la pieza. Margarita, qué bueno, yo tengo la pieza, luego la tocaremos. Pepe, sí, acabo de volver de Valencia, ciudad fascinadora. Aunque está situada en la región más árida de España. Por medio de irrigación, los valencianos han convertido la comarca en un jardín riquísimo. El agua se conduce para sequías desde los ríos Ucar y Turía y pertenece a los habitantes, los que la reparten por voz del Tribunal de las Aguas, compuesto de 7 jueces. So they're talking about, irrigation of a particular area and that, it's very arid, etc., etc. You can sort of understand it a little bit. Concha, recuerdan como la barraca de Blasco Ibáñez llaman a estos jueces las 7 acequias. Margarita y Lola, sí, sigue Pepe, sigue. Pepe, los valencianos son supersticiosos, vengativos y rencorosos. Se dice que su lema es ni olvido ni perdono. Sus diversiones consisten en bailar y hacer el amor. No obstante su apego a la diversión, son una raza que desmiente la idea de que los españoles somos perezosos. Trabajan tarde y temprano y por la noche bailan y dan serenatas y pelan la pava. Todo el mundo canta Valencia, Valencia, en Valencia. La música fue compuesta por José Padilla, à la letra. En francés por Jacques Charles. La letra es descriptiva de Valencia. Dice Jacques Charles que es la tierra exquisita donde la brisa deshoja los azahares y las nubes se levan los sueños y que es un paraíso de amor. Toque usted la pieza, Margarita. Con mucho gusto, la música parece decirle las palabras de Charles. Toca. Qué música más romántica. En París se canta y se baila mucho. ¿Sabe usted bailar el Valencia, Pepe? No, muy bien. Pero he prometido enseñarlo a Lola. Lindo. Luego Lola nos la enseña a nosotros. ¿Verdad? Lola, ya lo creo, pero vamos, Pepe, quedamos en ir a saludar a los López. Adiós, Concha, ven a verme. Se besan en un bas, me hilas. Adiós, Alá me tendrás pronto. Adiós, Margarita. Cuando nos vemos mañana en el Real, se besan. Conchita, Margarita, hasta después. Me tienen a sus órdenes. Margarita y Concha, hasta la vista. Giuseppe Gibilisco, sei venuto proprio in tempo perché sto imparando lo spagnolo. E quindi online, questa è una lettura di un pezzo spagnolo, quindi che non capisco tutto, però con il tempo, because Giuseppe Gibilisco is from Sicilia, so I've spoken to him in Italiano, not in Siciliano. Okay, 12:30 is the end of this series. Hasta luego, hasta la vista. I'm very happy to come to the end of the series, having read in Spanish a little piece that just to show that you need to listen, you need to read, write. You could copy this out, and I might do that too. And then the speaking comes later. Hasta la vista, buenos dias. You can learn those little phrases, What did we learn about when you want to order something? I've forgotten what I read before. I've totally forgotten. Perdona, quanto es para Inglaterra? Quanto costa? How much is it? Etc. Oh, thank you very much for coming on. As I said, I am now free to come and go as I please, but I will continue, I promise you, I will continue with my work, and it'll become more interesting. Go to insegna.com, where my podcast will be presented. I'll be able to prepare a lot better for each podcast, each presentation, because I won't have a time limit where I have to perform. So I'll perform when I'm ready, and it'll be tighter, a tighter presentation. Okay? And that's what people want. But I like this too. Stuffing up a little bit is good. Okay. On that note, thank you. Gracias to you all. Merci bien. Ciao. Au revoir. This is Tom Padula from TomPadulaTV on YouTube and Insegna Booksellers. Please come to my Facebook page and let me know that you are. You can write to me when you come on. Then you can leave a note and say, I'm following the French, or I'm following you, in what I'm doing. I want to know who's following me, and that way then I can prepare even for you as well. So if you tell me what you're interested in as well, you can say, Tom, yeah, I'm not interested in this, I'm interested in this, and then I'll do that as well. But the main thing is I will come on and do my series for Insegna.com, YouTube, and other platforms as well. Okay, on that note, adios. I'm going to finish now, and this will come on my Facebook page. Ciao.